RyanReiss, audience warm comedian, here with the Late Night with Seth Meyers podcast. I'm joined today by comedian, actor, producer, writer, Jim Gaffigan.
Hot dog chef also. Ryan, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing great, Jim. I know you're here tonight promoting your new film.
Light for Light. And yeah.
Well, yeah, you're known as a comedian, but you're also quite an accomplished actor. You have a bunch of films that are out this year.
Yeah.
People seem to be surprised by that. But in addition to that, you've done, what, over 200 commercials or something?
Yeah, whenever they needed a dumb white guy for a commercial, they would get me. So that's one of the benefits.
And you're on tour currently with the Pale Tourist.
Yes.
And you're going to be playing Rockefeller Center.
Yes,
Well,
Radio City.
Radio City.
Yes.
Is that your first time there?
That will be my first time performing there. I mean, I was a dancer with the Rockettes for a little bit, but I was fired because I got too fat. That'll be my first time there. It's an enormous room.
It's quite an honor, and actually you added a show, didn't you?
I did add a show.
So you sold out a show, and this you can do 2 shows.
So it's very exciting. And, being a New Yorker, as you know, there's these certain places where you're like, I can't believe I'm actually performing there, but it's great.
Yeah, you actually started comedy in New York City, and one of the themes to your comedy is your health or your lack thereof.
Indifference towards it.
But you played college football.
I did.
What'd you play?
I played center. I was the starting center when I quit. And when I quit football, because I would go to these 2-a-day practices. And
Georgetown, right?
Georgetown.
Yeah.
Division III. And I was not a good player, so I don't want to mischaracterize this. But I remember I went in and I told the coach that I was quitting. And he was eating like a sandwich. And he did not bother to put down the sandwich the entire time. He was like, you sorry sacks, you come in here. And it sounds like I'm exaggerating, but he was from like Southern Virginia, and he was just like, you quit this, you're going to quit everything in your life. And, to like a 19 or 20-year-old kid, you're terrifying. You're like, am I going to quit everything? And you know what? He was wrong. I mean, well, he was right. I did quit a lot of other things. I quit working out, but like that's about it.
Well, it seems to be working for you, though. I mean, stand-up comedy and acting, 2 of the hardest fields, or most challenging, let's just say.
Yeah.
And you're
just an insane pursuit. Obviously, mixing cement or digging a ditch is a lot harder, but you don't, like the amount of rejection and kind of people telling you like you're insane for pursuing this is, as you know, as a comedian, it's like you have to kind of just go, no, I'm going to do this, and people are like, you shouldn't. And you're like, I'm going to do it anyway.
Now, how did your father feel about you going? Like, I knew he was not a fan of you being an actor.
Yes.
But how did he feel about you going to comedy?
Well, I was the youngest of 6, and my family was very much, I had gotten a finance degree, and so he was kind of like, well, there's something to fall back on. But it was just, Jimmy, which I'm known by in my family, is Jimmy and his little comedy thing. And then, of course, when I started to have some success, they're like, we always know you could do it.
Yeah, I think you've made it as a comedian. You were on the Forbes list this year, weren't you?
Yeah. Well, that's always an exaggeration.
Well, you've also got like 12 kids, so...
Yeah, I know. I've got a lot of kids that I know of. You know what I mean?
You're known to be a clean comedian.
Yes.
But one of your favorite comedians is David Tell.
Yes.
Who is not known for being clean.
No, he's not. But, I think that people... It's strange because I've always kind of... I curse in everyday life, but I think that sometimes because I don't curse in my stand-up, in pre-written material, sometimes people assume that it's for some, like, religious reason or, like, it's comedians do the comedy they're going to do, and then they get credit or criticism for it. But I even thinking kind of categorizing comedians clean or brave or anything, it just comes down to whether it's funny or not. Don't you think?
Completely, but you did open for the Pope, so they may have made that assumption.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, there is something about that, I guess.
But you do have Pope jokes, or you did have a Pope joke.
I did.
In your Comedy Central hour.
The Pope thing is weird because it's that's one of the gigs you could get because you are clean. But, like, there's not... and I guess there's some corporate gigs where they want you to be clean. But most comedians can be clean, it's I'm not doing a show at 2 a.m. If you're going on stage at 2 a.m, you have to have some edge, and so so it's,
or be Drake,
or you got to be Drake.
So we share the stage together in New York City. We do some of the Manhattan Comedy School shows at Gotham, and what I always love is you'll come in when I'm supposed to be closing, and you'll go, "I'm only going on if I'm bumping Reiss."
Yeah.
Bumping means that my slot time might be like 8:30, and I get pushed back because Jim comes in. But Jim's a wonderful act to watch, and it really is a treat for me to have that opportunity. But what I'm curious about is, who's the biggest guy that's ever bumped you back?
Oh my! I've been bumped by everyone. That's the thing about the entertainment industry is, I think we block out the amount of humiliation we endure along the way, and so I would say. Yeah, no, I've been bummed by everyone. I mean, it's also, there's, I've been doing stand-up longer than you, so I don't feel as guilty bumping you, but I also am not somebody who's going to do like an hour. Like, it's just, you'll still be able to do your set.
Oh, yeah, it's fine.
But that's why I don't like to bump people that I started with. That's a little bit awkward. You know what I mean? And it's a little bit... But I also, I've got 5 kids and I got to get up at like 6:30 in the morning, But so that's why I love performing at Gotham Comedy Club. I have a good relationship there with Chris Mazzilli, who runs it. And so, you don't want to get too caught. Like, I don't want to bump people that are, been around longer than me.
So what do you got going on now?
I guess just that, I'm on tour with this new show, The Pale Tourist, and I'm going all around the world to Canada and, South America and Europe. And I'm going to Russia, so if I get kidnapped there, this will be the last interview I did.
Ugh, well, it'd only be so lucky.
That'll be big.
That would be big for me. All right. Well, thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you, buddy.
Late Night with Seth Meyers airs weeknights on NBC at 12:35, 11:35 Central. Original music on the Late Night podcast is by the HE Band. Don't forget to follow the handle Late Night Seth on social media and tell your friends to subscribe to the Late Night podcast wherever they get their podcasts.